Have you ever found yourself with lots of free time and you're itching to get out there with the camera, but the conditions just seem to be constantly miserable? That's exactly how I'm feeling as I'm making this video. I really want to get down to the water for some bird photography, but every single day just seems to be cloudy with flat light, and there's quite a lot of wind as well. So I'm kind of waiting at the moment for the better conditions to arrive. But here's the thing, if I'm going to wait for the perfect conditions, I could be waiting forever. And especially in the UK, you just don't know when those conditions are going to happen. Apologies for the sound if the sound's a bit of a problem, because I'm kind of sat on this like a bit of a tiny weir and the water's sort of rushing down between my feet. What I'm doing here, I'm trying to find the point of balance on the lens, so the point where if you just leave it, it will just stay nice and balanced. So I'm just kind of shifting it. I just need to move it back a little bit so I find that balance. It's horrible. Sometimes you just got to throw yourself out there and just do the best you can. I'm up at 4000 ISO at the moment. I'm trying to push my ISO a little bit higher these days, and I'm at 1/400th of a second at f4. I'm just going with the widest aperture of f4 just because it is so dark, and I'm just defaulting to f4 to give me the most amount of light. The weather here is just not very nice at all. There's no point trying to sugarcoat it. It's really cloudy, it's dark, it's much darker than it probably looks on camera, and there's a bit of wind as well, which is causing the ripples on the water, which never looks good, particularly with blank skies. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to pick a spot where I've got the least amount of water movement, and this area in front of me, the wind isn't catching it so much, so I've got an area where I've got better reflections where the wind isn't quite affecting it. Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of pick my moment more in terms of angles and also expressions. You think ducks don't really have an expression. I think they do. I think they can change slightly, and I'm just trying to pick that moment when it looks the best. Someone came and fed the ducks bread, which you really shouldn't do, but people always do, and that's not great photography in itself, but once they calm down, once they've had a feed, I think you often get some of the best opportunities. So now I'm getting lots of mallards that are just they're calming themselves down, and they're often preening and also flapping as well. So it's good to watch them. If you see them preening, there's a good chance they'll flap. And also, if you see that head, if you just see the head start to kind of stretch upwards, then there's a good chance they're going to flap after that. So I've had a go at a few of those. And also I'm using electronic first curtain shutter today, so thank you to everyone in my YouTube community that helped me out with that. That was really helpful. And a couple of shots I took there, one of the male mallards flapping, had a look on the back, and you know, I didn't see any signs of rolling shutter to me. My butt is getting numb. I realise at this point that I've not really thought that much about the light, and I think it's because I'm just enjoying it so much, just watching those ducks, tracking them, trying to get nice poses. I'm just enjoying it, and I'm so involved in the moment. That was just such great fun. I really enjoyed that, and despite this weather being pretty horrible, you know, the light's not what I would usually go for, I just really enjoyed just following those ducks around, yeah, mostly mallards, but just following them around and just tracking them as best as I could. And especially when they're coming towards me, you know, when they kind of turn and they come towards you with that head and that beak, I'm always trying to get that like symmetrical image. I have come back here to this location which was seen briefly at the beginning of the video, and this place is actually really close to home. It's probably one of the closest places to where I live. Now it's a really big lake, and then we've got a few islands out there as well, and then a little bit of woodland around the edge. It's a little bit raised here, so it's kind of in a bit of a dip, I would say. There's a few hills in the distance as well. But what I've noticed, this is the first time I've really seen this, is the islands out there, there's actually some cormorants on there. There's definitely a cormorant colony. There's two trees in particular where there's quite a lot of cormorants, and they're all sat there in the trees on the branches. And as you can see, the light is still pretty terrible. In fact, it was supposed to be sunny this afternoon, supposed to be quite a lot of blue sky, so yeah, as you can see, not exactly happened. Well, what I've done now, I've just come up to the top of that slope, so I'm stood kind of right at the top of this slope now, so I can get a bit of a better view out over the water. And I've already seen a couple of cormorants fly by. Cormorant just flying over right across, and not too high either. In fact, he's behind me. I don't think you'll see him, but that's good. Potentially I could stand up here on this raised area at the top, and I could actually get those birds flying in, which would be fantastic. One of the hardest things is getting eye level for birds in flight photography, so I think there's definitely a possibility of that. Well, that was a bonus as well, because I just saw some geese. I'm a big fan of geese, a lot of you probably know that. Quite a big group of geese. I think they were grey lag, I'm not too sure, but they just flew across. They took off on the water somewhere, and then they flew across above the lake over here towards the east. So that's something else here. There might be a potential for some more, misty geese shots in flight, hopefully. It's getting darker all the time. It is so dark right now. I'm just looking at this lake edge. I got myself close to the lake edge because I like to check things out, and as I said, this is a new location for me. So what I'm just looking at is potential opportunities here. If there are birds coming closer, if there's quite a lot of birds on the water, can I get to a good vantage point? So I'm going to have a look down and see if I can get low down and see how it looks. Yeah, definitely doesn't look too bad there. I think there's definitely some potential. So again, if there's anything on here, I can get low down. There's an egret. There's an egret flying across right now. I'm just going to try and film it if the camera will focus. Little egret, excellent. I always want to know where the sun is, so where the sun is going to be at sunrise, where the sun's going to be at sunset, and kind of roughly how that's going to change during the year. So it's nearly the middle of winter now, so I know the sunrise is pretty much going to come up right across there where I'm looking now across this lake. So potentially that could mean backlighting, and it could work really well because there's quite a lot of trees. So I've got enough trees around the edge of the lake and the islands as well that with the sun just coming over that hillside in the distance, potentially backlighting, shooting towards those darker backgrounds could be really good. So this could be, for sure, could be a good location for backlighting. When I was photographing those ducks earlier at the park, those are not usually the conditions I'd be out in. I just really want much calmer conditions and at least a little bit of sunshine, but I still really enjoyed it. I just wanted to really kind of force myself out there, in all honesty, because I've not really done that much photography since Christmas really. So just getting out there and just watching, and also the learning, even if you don't have fantastic conditions, even if you don't get the best pictures, it's still an opportunity to learn something new. And coming here this afternoon, I didn't take a single picture today, but it was worthwhile because I have learned in a short space of time. I have already learned so much about this place. It's still been worthwhile. It's just crows, nothing to worry about. There's another cormorant coming in. If you get it on camera as it comes over me. Oh, there's a bit of colour in the sky. Oh, there we go. I just filmed it, I didn't photograph. I should have photographed. And had a little look down by the water as well, which is ultimately what I really enjoy, and hopefully I can get lower down there at some point for some low-level water photography. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Sometimes you just gotta throw yourself out there and just do the best you can.